Hello everyone and welcome to Bloggerna Everything and welcome back to the channel and welcome to a match review as we take a look at Barcelona's closely contested 3-2 Super Copa semi-final loss to Real Madrid on Wednesday night in Riyadh. As much as Barca may have lost the game, this was actually a very good performance on the night, and Xavi and his troops will definitely have a lot of positives to take away from this encounter. Real Madrid will of course progress to Sunday's final, where they will face either one of Athletic Bilbao or Atletico de Madrid. But I just have to say that for the first time in a while watching a clasico, I actually had quite a bit of fun. So, like we do in match reviews, I'll take you through the tactical setup from both teams, then get into the team performance before talking negatives and positives, and finally picking a man of the match. Just a quick plug here, guys. If you enjoy what you're seeing here, if it's your first time here as well, hit subscribe, but also please do like this video. It helps a lot with the algorithm, so you'll be able to see these videos in future. Okay, let's quickly talk about the tactical setup from both teams. As I had said in the match preview, I suspected both teams would start with a 4-3-3 formation. However, there were quite a few surprises, I should admit, from the Barcelona side of things. For starters, I was not expecting Araujo or Frankie de Jong to play much part in these games, but both of them were in the starting lineup, and of course there was space for a debut for Ferran Torres, and I mean, what an occasion to make your debut. Real Madrid is well set up in a 4-3-3, and it's pretty much exactly how we expected them to set up, except for Nacho Fernandez starting instead of David Alaba, but everything else, it's pretty much the same team that they played against Valencia. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the team performance. Coming into this match, Barcelona were very much touted as underdogs, and with justification, because the form table predicted only one outcome, which was a Real Madrid win. It was far from as easy for them as anyone would have expected it to be, and quite honestly, at the risk of sounding cliche, this was a classic of a clasico. Seriously speaking here, Barcelona really did turn up. Real Madrid opened the scoring though through Vinicius after he took advantage of some sloppy possession for Barca, and Real really looked set to go into the break with the lead up until Luke de Jong popped up with his third goal in the third straight match to restore parity for FC Barcelona, and so 1-1 was the score at halftime. And the second half then began with Xavi bringing on Pedri and Abde for Frankie de Jong and debutant Ferran Torres, but it wasn't until the further introductions of Fati, Pedri and Rodrigo on the part of Real Madrid that the pace of the game became more frenetic. Real Madrid then took advantage of this to once again take the lead through Karim Benzema as a deflected Carvajal cross fell to him in the Barcelona area. I should probably add in a footnote here that prior to Carvajal playing in that ball, Marc-Andre ter Stegen made a very wonderful save. Real then sat back and sought to protect their lead, but in the 83rd minute, Barcelona once again drew level as Jordi Alba found Ansu Fati with a cross, and the youngster nodded home to make it 2-2 and to take the game into extra time. And it was in extra time that Real Madrid took the lead for the third and final time on the night as Valverde finished off a counter-attack just 8 minutes into extra time. The final whistle came and Real Madrid won the match by 3-2. Right, let's go ahead now and talk some negatives and positives. I will start with my negatives, for which I do not have many this time around. I think the only thing that I could point out here as a negative is that once again Barcelona did give up some cheap goals. Now the winning goal, I would say, it was bound to happen somewhere or another. If Barcelona were going to keep pushing for a winner, it would be open on a counter, and so they would concede. So with that one, I don't really have much beef there. Same goes with the second goal as well. There's not really that much that could have happened. There was a deflection off of that Carvajal cross. Ter Stegen was trying to block it, and it just so happened to fall at the feet of Karim Benzema. What I do have an issue with though was that first goal. It definitely could have been avoided. Huge mistake by Sergio Busquets, and it was good to see him recover from that mistake though and put in what was a very brilliant performance afterwards. But once again, I do have to point out this negative here, giving away cheap goals. And had we not given that goal away, then perhaps we could have won this game 2-1 in normal time. Who knows? Alrighty, like I said, I only have one negative, so I'm moving on to my positives, of which I do have quite a bit. For starters, I think I was very, very impressed with the performance of the team as a whole. Now, if memory serves me right, sometime after Barcelona lost to either Real Madrid or PSG last season, I did make a point of the fact that Barcelona at the time had zero fighting spirit and they would just roll over, and if the opponents got in their face, they would punk out. Well, I am glad to say that that is no longer the case, because this team now really does have quite a lot of fight in it. Not only did they come back twice from a go down to push Real Madrid all the way to extra time, but they could conceivably have scored a winner even before this match went to extra time. And of course, like I said, this was actually quite a tight match in that it could have gone either way. So the mere fact that Barcelona had Real Madrid as good as they have been, playing that way and being in that kind of a matchup, I think is a very big positive, because it shows progress. My second positive was some individual performances that were, I felt, pretty top notch. I'm looking at Ronald Araujo, I'm looking at, like I said, Busquets after the mistake, I'm looking at Gerard Piqué, and I'm also looking at my man Ousmane Dembele up front. I think that there was an edge to Barcelona today. As much as they may not have gotten so many clear-cut chances as they would have wanted against this Real Madrid team, there was certainly an edge to them, and there was that element of danger when Barcelona were getting close to Real Madrid's box, and I think that's owing to some of the individual performances that we saw on the night. Of course, even with the substitutes like Fati coming on, like Pedri, who really did give Barcelona that extra oomph. And of course, that's my final positive, which is that the team is finally taking shape. Or should I say, Xavi's team is finally taking shape. At least going forwards, we are finally seeing some of what we can expect a lot more from Xavi's Barcelona. What remains maybe to be sorted out is the back end, but all in all, I think it should be more than enough to see Barcelona get into those top four places. Once you get Fati, Ferran Torres, and Pedri up to speed, this team is definitely going to be able to hurt so many more teams. Alrighty, now that I am done with my negatives and positives, I come to what I feel is a pretty controversial decision in my man of the match selection, because I went with Ousmane Dembele. And hear me out for a second here. I realize a lot of people are going to be like, well, Benzema scored a goal and he assisted, and definitely he was going to be my pick initially. But then when I sat down and I looked at the match as a whole, especially from the Barcelona side, what Barcelona were able to do well, when it was going well, look at the stats from Dembele. I mean, Benzema's aren't bad either, but Dembele is like, he was playing on a different level. I don't know why he can't do this against Granada or against Mallorca or whatever, but you know what? He chose to do it against Real Madrid, and it was a pretty good performance. And I think for me, he was the man of the match. I understand if it wasn't for you, like I said, this is just what I think. Well, that's all she wrote for this one, folks. Thank you once again for tuning in. Ultimately, Barcelona are not going to be able to contest another Super Copa final. I am not really disappointed or sad about that, to be honest. I felt like this entire tournament is, to be honest, irrelevant, but it has kind of acted like a sort of preseason kind of, fine-tuning fixture here for Barca. Barcelona are, of course, still going to be out of action for the next 7 days because, of all the traveling and all that stuff, I guess. And they'll be back in action against none other than Athletic Bilbao, who they will be playing in the Copa del Rey. So between now and then, I expect to see Barca look even stronger because Xavi will have even more time to work with Ferran Torres, with Pedri, with Fati, with Dembele, Abde, De Jong, and Depay in training. And I just got to say, like, I have no idea what Xavi Hernandez is feeding Luke De Jong, but right now, I'm not too sure if Luke De Jong is going to be shipped out. Anyway, that's that for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What were your thoughts on the match? Who was your man of the match? What did you think of the performance on the day? Thank you again for tuning in. Have a great day, and Forza Barca.